You're listening to the Book Your Dream Clients podcast, episode 64.
You're listening to the Book Your Dream Clients podcast, where we believe business can be simple and you can use your intuition to run towards your goal. Self-made business and success coach Lindsay Maloney helps you start and scale your dream coaching business. With her step-by-step intuitive and creative guidance, you'll leave ready to put her tips into action, push your business forward, and work with your dream clients. Lindsay is here to help you get unstuck and structure your brilliance into a coaching business that's sustainable and financially exhilarating. Here's your host, Lindsay Maloney.
Today's show is with my new friend, Louise, and we're chatting about how coaches can bring in some wins in their business now. Louise has some really great strategies and tips for you, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Louise, thank you so much for being on the Book Your Dream Clients podcast. I'm so excited to visit with you today.
I'm so excited to be here, Lindsay. I've been looking forward to it all week.
Yes, me too. How about you just introduce yourself to our audience and tell us about who you are and what you do and who you serve?
I am a business strategy coach and I ignite people's brands. And so I help coaches and service providers ignite their brands through like building their list and getting leads for their business with very minimal to no Facebook, no ad spend.
I love that, especially for new coaches out there. When they hear the word Facebook ads, they think like that's way down the road. And I'm just gonna wait on that. What do you have to say? We have a lot of coaches that listen to this podcast, a lot of beginner coaches and people who are just trying to scale. And maybe they haven't even touched Facebook ads because they're waiting for this big thing to happen in their business. Let's talk to that person today. What can we start them with if they want to just have a big win in their business? Because I think every win is a big win. I don't think there's any small wins. I think every win is a big win. Let's talk to that person.
Right. And I think that you're right. I think you call them big wins. I call them mini wins. It's those wins where you get a sale through a minimal viable product. And so I think that a lot of coaches have these bigger programs, signature programs that they have to build out for their clients. And I think that a minimal viable product is key for doing a few things in business, and it's building your email list, which, as we were talking about Facebook earlier too, is that Facebook is going to get harder and harder to pay for or the cost of paying for ads is going to get higher and higher. And I think that we need to jump on the fact that building a list right now should be the major focus in business, in anyone's business for that matter. And I think that is very key when it comes to is having that minimal viable product that people understand what you do for them. They get you, not only that they understand how you coach, so they get a little taste of how you do stuff and how you actually can help them. And sometimes I think that, and I look at a lot of profiles on Facebook and I'm like, I don't understand what you do. And I think that this little minimal viable product will help them get their message out to their ideal clients in a less of lower barrier to entry is what I like to call it, a lower barrier to entry.
And the reason why I was excited about this conversation is I told you at the beginning, this is not something that I teach in my signature program. I teach them a completely different way to grow their business. So I love sharing different techniques because, everyone has a different goal. So I love that you're like, let's just give them something small, like a mini win, so they can feel like they have something to move forward with. And I think that's great. So let's talk about that. How can they, if they want to create a mini win, what's the first step? We know we need to start building our list. And we hear that all of the time, build your list, build your list. What are some ways that these coaches can start building their list in your opinion?
Well, I think that as I mentioned, it's like a three-legged stool, okay? And so what you really want to do is pull out a really good piece of your coaching, and it's got to be juicy. It can't be just, I'll just pull this one thing out, but we splinter something off of that coaching, and it could even be, something like an actual physical PDFs and such and so forth, or any kind of a template that you use inside your coaching. So you can pull that out and then put, and then use that as a lead. It's kind of a lead magnet, but it's not, because you're going to get them to pay for it. So it's what we call like that minimal viable product, but it's also can be called like a tripwire, or I've tried different price points too. So I've tried the 27. I have another person who I've coached that's done the 47. And we're putting a launch together actually today that's going to be a $7 offer. And so it's the $7 offer and then you actually have a one-time offer, which is an upsell. And so there's a psychology that goes behind that, is that if you can get somebody to opt in to something that you're offering that's really good, and they've pulled out their credit card, they're more likely to go to the second offer and take that as well. So I know that in mine, not this one, but the last one that I did was a 27 and then a $37 offer. So I would wake up in the morning, and I don't know why, but my buyers would buy at night for some reason. So every morning I was waking up to sales. It was a kind of like an adrenaline rush, but you would wake up to that $64 sale from each individual person who came through. And this particular process will take them through that minimal viable and then the OTO, which the one-time offer, and then you can actually work right into an actual members area. And that's exactly what I did. And it's really quite hands-off, which is a beautiful thing. It builds your list, pays for your ads. For the most part, you're in and around that, depending on what price point you're at, but it pays for your ad for every person who gets on your list. And not only that particular person who comes into your sales funnel is a hot lead. It's not a cold lead or even a warm lead. It's a hot lead because they've already purchased from you. So you've already got, it's not a freeble. I have a coach as well, and he calls them freebles. And those people who want free things, it's a person who's actually bought something from you. So you're creating a really good list of people who will ascend to your next offer. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I like it. So you have, a couple of low priced offers, and then they're warming up with you. They're doing their work on their own. And then eventually they could work with you one-on-one, or however you have your high tier programs. I like that. So tell me about, let's say somebody's listening. They're like, but I don't want to spend any money on Facebook ads. How can I still grow my list and implement these strategies?
You can still grow your list through social media. Obviously, that I have a whole lead igniter kit that I offer that will help you, with your profile. I mean, I mentioned a little earlier about the fact that people's profiles, you go in and you don't really know what they do. And so I actually have a lead igniter kit where if your profile is done the right way, there's like about 6 different areas. And if it's done correctly, you'll have people reaching out to you. Like I've gotten emails from people, hey, I'm just reaching out, wanted to ask you this. Or I've had people schedule a igniter session with me through my social media. It's just, or, people ask questions in a DM. It's just, if it's done right, you can actually pull them off of that and then create that one link inside of your profile that takes them to your minimal viable product. You can actually do that through in your actual profile if you want. And what we've discovered is that when people go to websites, there's too many tabs and there's too many ways that they can start clicking all over, and then they just click right off the site. Whereas in an actual sales funnel, you're taking them directly to one particular offer, and they're not going to click away.
I agree. I think there is just too much on a lot of sites. We have very limited attention spans when we're on the internet, and we're just kind of looking for what we want. And then if we can't find it, we're gone. I don't think the days of having all of this stuff on your website is working for us as well as it used to be. I think websites have changed, simplifying them. Social media has changed gigantically, and it's just important to pay attention and go with the flow. And don't think that if something changes, oh my gosh, my business is going under, or I got started at the wrong time. Because like we were talking about at the beginning of the interview, how different social media is now than what it was 9 years ago when, everything seems so much easier. So let's talk about the person who's just starting on social media. And it's like, it's got to feel like an uphill battle sometimes to even get people to click on their profile. So how can we make our profiles really exciting for people to want more from somebody using organic marketing?
Well, the organic part is is being able to get people off the social media platform, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to want to obviously start having conversations, and you've heard that over and over again. But it's having those templates that doing a DM and having those templates, those appointment getting templates to pull people off. And I think that if your actual profile, the one thing that I teach in the Lead Igniter kit is creating a. I know people love to have pictures of their kids on their profile in their actual Facebook feed. I'm not talking about their actual page, their fan page or whatever, because obviously you would be in there. But most times, if you're a coach and you're inside of somebody's group and that group are filled with your avatar, then they click on your profile and they see a beautiful picture of the landscape. That doesn't help them understand what you do, first of all, or give them any really good call to action. And so I think that more and more people are starting to realize that their Facebook feed, not just their fan page, is extremely important to basically have a billboard. And it's a billboard, and you need to be making sure that whatever is on there is enticing. And that's the key to the Lead Igniter kit that I offer.
And I think that is important. I think when we start to get curious about somebody, we go and try and find them everywhere. Right. So if you go to their Facebook page or you Google, Facebook's going to come up right away. And then you go there and you're like, oh, I don't know. You don't know if that's the right person for one. Right. And then you think, well, they kind of look familiar, but you have nothing to click on, and then you're gone, and then you don't even remember their name because they didn't give you more.
Right. Exactly. And so that's one of the things that's the organic way. And then obviously the actual sales funnel where it's a minimal viable product it's not an expensive way, because obviously, you're kind of paying for your ads, and you have to be able to invest in your business. And so there's got to be, a point where you're building your list, and that, as we mentioned, everything's changing and it's getting more and more costly. So I think there's a little window right now. There's a window of opportunity to still get your list building through a minimal viable product that will actually pay for your ads at the same time. So I help them carve that out of one of the things that I love to do is create offers. And it's not selling a product. You've got to create an offer. And so that's one of the things that I love to teach, is creating that value offer that is a no-brainer. It's having somebody go, oh my goodness, I need that. And then pulling it out and then throwing in, you could, obviously you could do it organically, like you just mentioned, sending people to that link, or you could do it through a Facebook ad. And it really depends on your conversions too.
Mm-hmm.
On how you set it up.
Yeah, definitely. Facebook ads. I find that when I invest in my marketing, I do really well with Instagram stories, because that's kind of where my audience is. And I don't even run Facebook ads anymore, to be honest, because I get way more leads from an Instagram story ad, and they're a lot easier for me. So I think it's important to tell everyone that if you run a Facebook ad, it doesn't mean like everything in your business will change. You have to invest in marketing where your audience is. Do you agree?
Yes, I think that's key. And as we had a discussion earlier, was your audience is definitely on Instagram. So that's key. And then, and also I have a lot of people on Facebook.
Yeah, and so that works really well for you. And we were chatting about something interesting with Facebook groups. Some people have Facebook groups, some people are contemplating having them. Let's talk about the changes with that. I still think that they're a great place to bring your audience closer. How do you feel about Facebook groups?
Well, I think that Facebook groups are great. It's a great way to get in there and give value. But it also is a great way to get in there and give value to other groups as well. And that's when the Lead Igniter Kit works, is because you're in Facebook groups. And I think that people tend to rely on Instagram so much, but they're not looking at their Facebook, because that's when you respond to something inside a Facebook group, that's where they click on you, and then they see what you do. And if you have as I mentioned, if you have a picture of a nice landscape, that doesn't help them understand what you do. So I think that Facebook groups are awesome. It's just whether or not you're set up to be, you're set up like a resume almost on Facebook, so that when you're replying, that they understand what you do. Now, I think that groups are great. You can build a group, that I personally believe that, that building a group of people who have purchased with you is probably a better type of group. They tend to be more active, I find. I think it's really, really hard to get people to engage inside of groups, pre-groups. Do you feel that way?
I do, to a point, and I just kind of found my healthy way of engaging with my audience. I think that, I think you're in my group. I just ask random questions every day just to get conversations starting, and then they kind of run with it. But I think like when it comes to marketing, when it comes to building your list, doing everything, I always think that it's just like walking into a room full of people, and to me, I want to just talk to people and get to know them, and let them get to know me, and let them, through your profile, through your posts and all of that stuff. So I think that the thought of maybe selling something right away for a coach might be intimidating. So if they're a little intimidated just to create something and put it out there, and they're afraid that, if I create that $7 tripwire, whatever you want to call it, how can we talk to that person who's feeling a little bit nervous just to put something out there for, the low price ad strategy? How can we talk to that person, and maybe we can give them some tools that they could use to boost their confidence?
Well, I happen to be doing a 30-day challenge on how to build that whole sales funnel out for them. So that it's obviously complex in the sense, but I think that people tend to believe that they're not techie enough. And, I hear that a lot over and over again. It's like, I know I need to do a sales funnel, but it's so intimidating. And I think that that's why I wanted to do this program. because of the fact that it's not that hard I don't believe that I'm a techie per se, but I think it's just a question of walking people through the steps to build that particular sales funnel out so that they have a way of gathering, first of all, emails, but also getting income coming through so that they feel like they're getting these mini wins. And I think that when you're looking at the actual minimal viable product, it's something that's running that you don't actually have to touch. Once you've built it out once, you don't touch it again. And so and the beautiful thing is that like the last sales funnel, I'm incorporating that into this sales funnel. So once it's built, all you have to start doing is plugging it all in. And I think that the actual, the funnel will actually work for you in the sense that it's validating your offer as well. So if you feel that maybe your offer isn't getting out there, or that your coaching, whatever you're coaching on, I mean, obviously you have to niche down. Do you teach on niching down in your program?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that sometimes, it's a great way to niche down and talk about one particular part of your coaching.
I think that is a really great way to test your program. If you are in the midst of creating your group program, the outline of it, and you just want to test a little bit of it, I think it's a great way to see how the waters are and just put it out there. How long do you think that it takes to create something like this? Because I know that my audience has, they probably have a 9-to-5 and they're busy and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to create another funnel. Or how long does this normally take? Can you kind of give us a ballpark?
Well, it's a 30-day challenge. So at the very end of the challenge, you actually have a fully functioning funnel. But, if you were to give yourself, 30 minutes a day, just allot yourself 30 minutes a day at, whatever time is appropriate for you. Because obviously if your kids are still awake and you need 30 minutes, you'd wait till probably 8 or 9 o'clock at night to do this. But I think that it's like the same thing as like how to eat an elephant. It's one step at a time. And I think if you just spend 30 minutes, a day, or lump it all together. If you have time on the weekends, you could just lump it all together and take out, a couple hours and fulfill that segment.
Mm-hmm. I like that approach because if I had to sit down in one day and build out a funnel, I don't think I would be very excited to do that. And so I always teach as well, just do little bits at a time. And I love that you kind of work with them for 30 days. I think that's a really great, a lot amount of time to do something like this, even if you have already built out a funnel before, because there's so many little bits and pieces to doing it. Would you mind sharing some of your favorite tools for creating your funnels?
Well, the tool I use is ClickFunnels. And so that particular platform is a great platform. I think any platform that you use is that has the ability to do a sales page, a one-time offer, and then go into a members program. Okay, so building that out, because I think that if you've got one platform doing two things, then it's more valuable in the sense that, like, if you have lead pages doing Teachable, then you've got two platforms that you've got to pay for each month, and then you've got to make sure that they're all connected. Whereas if you're using, I happen to use ClickFunnels. I love it. I find it very simple to use. Actually simpler than my Squarespace. It's so much more intuitive than even my Squarespace. Yeah, and like setting up ConvertKit. Now that's the other thing that I have is ConvertKit. Mm-hmm. So, and the beautiful thing is there's not a lot of follow-up emails that you need in this. You just put them into your broadcasting, or you put them on a sequence of whatever you want. But that's the nice thing is that you're not, they don't sign up for a webinar and then a week later join the webinar. And then you've got to have like a sequence of 7 emails after that webinar to get them to purchase. And so this one, what I like is that there's only one email that you have to get them to the members area, and that's it. And so the inside of that members area is where all the PDFs are and all of the videos that you teach through that process. So I always like, if you're going to find a platform, find one that does the two things, not just the one. So that might be my suggestion, or Quickie, but I use ClickFunnels. That's what I teach on.
Mm-hmm. I always have a feeling, I had a feeling you were a ClickFunnel girl. I just had a feeling you were. I used to use ClickFunnels in the past, and when you said it was easier to use than Squarespace, my eyes went, what? So it must have changed.
Yeah.
I remember I didn't like it.
Yeah. And no, when I first started with it, it was really, really hard. And now it's like, they've updated it. And even the members area was hard. And now it's super easy. Like I've tried Teachable, I've tried Member Vault, and it's just simple. It's extremely simple to build out the actual members area. This is just where you would house all of your videos and your PDFs that you offer inside of that minimal viable product.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's like, it's like a library basically, where they can just go and have all of your content.
Yeah, and they could go in, and then, like I said, it's very hands off, so that you can continue to focus on what you're coaching, like your coaching programs, your group coaching, or your one-on-one. This just runs in the background, and it continues to build your email list, and you are working harder at your actual coaching.
Cool. So do you promote your members area just as a general opt-in, or do they get it after they purchase something from you?
Yeah, it's only after they've purchased something, because it's that area is filled with the training.
Okay. I love listening to completely different strategies than what I do. And so it's very interesting to me. And I think sharing with the coaches that there are other ways you can build your business is really important. So just to sum it up, how coaches can have their big wins now: they can create a small offer that they can put out there on the internet. They can use organic marketing. They can use Facebook ads, and then they can give all of their paid members access to their members area. I think that's a really cool strategy and gives people a really good taste of what you do, and will kind of make them hungry for more, and thus leading to your ultimate goal of working with them one-on-one or in their bigger signature group program. Does that sum it up all right, Louise?
Oh, that's perfect. And that's the key part of your equation there, is getting them into the first step of your coaching, and then ascend them to the next level, whether that's group coaching, or individual coaching, or even if you created a course. So your course could be your next level, which would be, that 997 level. So that's exactly how I would ascend them, is take them through a course and then go to the next level with you.
Awesome. These were amazing tips, Louise. How can people find more about how you can help them? Because you gave a lot of amazing information. I'm sure people want some more from you.
Yeah. You can actually go to my website at louisecourville.com. And I'm sure that it's LouiseCourville.com. That's the easiest way. And then you can actually see the Lead Igniter kit. It's on there right now on the website.
Awesome. We'll put that link in the show notes. Of course, we'll put your social media in there as well, because I'm sure people will want to follow you. So thank you so much, Louise, for sharing all of this information with us. It was so helpful. And I'm sure everybody's wheels are turning.
It's fun. I love teaching. And also Girl Boss Coaches is my podcast. And I'd love for them to go there and get all my tips every day.
Yes, definitely. Louise just informed me this morning she has a podcast episode released every day. So she is She's amazing.
It's a lot of tips, and obviously there's a daily deposit as well. So it gives you some inspiration as well.
Awesome. We'll put that link in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for being here with us, Louise.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Want 10 ways for you to start booking your dream clients? I created this workbook for you because I wanted to share my best tips on how I book mine. You're not going to believe how easy these are, and I know you'll be able to take my tips and put them into action ASAP so you can start working with your dream clients. To grab the workbook for free, all you have to do is go to lindsaymaloney.com/podcast. Hey coaches, are you a member of the Book Your Dream Clients community yet? Because you should be. Just go to dreamclientcommunity.com to request free access. We do fun things like website audits, challenges, and we even have a book club. Join the free Dream Client community now, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much for listening to the Book Your Dream Clients podcast. If you want to find out more information how you can work with me, just head on over to my website, lindsaymaloney.com. You will be able to see how you can work with me privately or in a group setting. I'm all about helping you start and scale your coaching business, so I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes and leave a rating and review. And if you want bonus points, take a screenshot of a review and tag me on your Instagram story. I'd love to see it and share it with my audience. And plus, you don't want to miss another episode.